From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Happy Friday, world. It is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DBIC, the PrimeTime Capper. Now, I was supposed to have Mike Abadir join me today, but Mike is a little under the weather today, so hopefully he'll join us sometime early next week as well, too. But, you know, I've been doing Mike's show the last few weeks and everything like that, so he's supposed to do the show with us today. We're supposed to have a good old talk about the, MLB right now and extensively a little bit, so pretty much we're gonna scrap that for now. We're just gonna say that for Monday when we get with Mike and everything like that. But we still will be talking baseball today. But I'm gonna start off today's show talking about last night's NBA draft. The NBA draft was I would say it was a good moment for guys. It's always great to see guys be able to go to the next level and all that good stuff. And pretty much fulfill some dreams, right? But you just really noticed last night how young these guys were. It was kind of funny last night. I said it was like graduation or something of that nature. I said I never had my parents walk me into the office the day that I got the job and things like that. But I know the NBA and ESPN were trying to have kind of like they're selling something on TV moment and all that good stuff. But I thought it was a little funny to see from 30 years ago when I was a kid, not 30 years ago, let's say 20 years ago, when I was, coming out of high school and everything like that, 2002, I was graduating that year. I remember there was a lot of guys there and their parents were with them, but they didn't walk out with them and they all were taking pictures. But that's because most of those guys were 21, 22 years old, grown men. I had to realize last night that these are really children, like. And I don't want to call an 18 or 19-year-old a child, but the way they approached that situation, they were like little preschoolers, man. It was really funny. They had to make sure. But I think they wanted to make sure they showed that the mother and the father and all that good stuff. Because as we always say, basketball is in a different place. It's not like how it used to be years ago where you go get the kid from the inner city and everything like that. And this is his big moment. But everything has to be right. Everything has to check off for him to be in the NBA. Now those guys, they don't even get the call to be on the AAU team anymore unless they are really, really good and they got really, really good attitude. So the portion of the league that's taken over now is more of the players, kids that are playing now, because basketball has became like baseball. It's a very expensive sport when you're doing travel ball if you don't have, a very rich organization that has chosen you to play for them. A lot of times these kids are paying $400 or $500 every trip that they take, and that's a discount. And the way that things are working nowadays, that trip's going to start turning to $1,000, $1,500. So you have to have the parents that can afford to do that. So I think that the NBA is now turning into that portion of basketball. Baseball has been going through it for years as well too, where a lot of guys, you're a kid of a former player. So with the addition of a lot of foreign players coming in now, it's just the NBA is a different look now. And the way the NCAA literally has had to be handcuffed because they have the G League Unite, G League situation. I just tell myself when I saw all those freshmen and sophomores, I said, why don't you guys just go to the G League? Why keep wasting the college's time knowing that you guys aren't ready for the NBA, but some, big scout, some internet person, some person that makes the list of all the recruits is going to keep chiming that this guy is ready for the NBA. Guys got drafted on potential last night because NBA teams know at the end of the day they might have to pay a guy that spends 3 or 4 years in college because he's much smarter than the guy who's spending 1 to 2 years in college. You know what I mean? And if that player actually hits a guy who's a junior, senior, you know you can't play him on the dollars. Now, when you got these little puppies, these little entitled players that feel like they're supposed to be in the NBA, literally you can throw them anything and they'll go ahead and they'll take it because they're in the NBA. They can go ahead and have the ultimate flex for their friends. They can be 1 million followers on social media. They can be somebody for a short period of time. So I really truly feel that you don't have to tell these guys they can't go to the NBA, but I think that the NBA is going to have to figure out how to do better scouting, in my opinion, because I'm not saying this because I don't like the young guys. I love the young guys, but the quality of play is very bad in the NBA right now. The players are probably at the best they've ever been, but the skills, the basics, the fundamentals have all been kind of thrown to the side so people can kind of have stories to write. And I think that's not a good look for a league that keeps hemorrhaging money every season. You know what I mean? There has to be some type of it has to be fair. It has to be even. You know what I mean? We need more veterans in the NBA. It's that simple. It's not when you get to 30 years old in the league, you got to count your days now. You know what I mean? You got to get yourself ready for retirement. 33, 34, forget about it. You know what I mean? They're already sticking a fork in you. I remember those guys used to be guys still getting big contracts, 33, 34 years old. So all in all, let me go ahead and break down 3 players I think that will be significant next season. I think that Jabari Smith, like I said before, is going to be magnificent. He's in a good situation as well, too, playing with Trae Young. And they drafted Ty Washington last night as well, too. So Atlanta, even though Atlanta did play in a conference final a year ago, and they had to draft number 3, they actually did. It's actually kind of like a team that just, they didn't have the greatest season. They had the greatest finish, but they were put in that position because simply they made good trades before that. So I think all in all, when it comes down to it, this was a good draft for them. Also, a team that hit it out the park were the Pistons because, as you can see, the Pistons are probably going to go into more of a veteran Latin team, but they did go get themselves a good guard to go with Kay Cunningham. So that should work out as well, too. And surprise, 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 I thought that Oklahoma City did very well last night as well, too. I thought, I'm kind of dogging a kid Holmgren, but I know that he's tall enough to go ahead and be something in the league his first season, but it's about the long term with him, and I think that if he stays healthy, he can be a decent player in the NBA. But from what I'm seeing, I don't know if that guy's going to be healthy at all, because the NBA is different. Guys are going to get on you. Guys are going to put elbows in your chest. They're going to play you a lot different than they did in college. It's just going to be a different world. It's not as easy as high school. It's not as easy as, playing with Gonzaga with his monster team the way he did. But Oklahoma City pretty much is holding the first round hostage for the next 5 seasons because they were able to get rid of all their top money players, and all they did was just keep trading for first round draft picks. So it is what it is at the end of the day. They could be a team that could be a great playoff team and come within the next 5 years and everything if they can go ahead and put it together on the coaching end. So all in all, the NBA draft was exactly what I expected to be, a very overrated event. And I think that a lot of us just know that now it's starting to get to the point to where it's not interesting anymore. Like these drafts, these big presentations and stuff, y'all just need to go back to how it used to be back in the day. Everybody shows up in a room, and then you know what? The local news reports a guy being drafted by a team. I know everybody wants to tweet about it, talk about it, and then if you see that's one of your third cousin twice removed, then you just over there ready to go ahead and get your cash in on your familyness, right? So it is what it is. It's all pageantry. It's for the birds, in my opinion, because it does not determine these players' future at all. Even if they are heralded to be the greatest player or heralded to be a guy that just got in the league because he's somebody's kid. You know what I mean? And it is what it is at the end of the day. And my last little rant will be about the Lakers, and it's going to be quick. Lakers did draft a pretty good player from Michigan State. Guy was an All-American. All-Americans hadn't signed with Michigan State since Jaren Jackson. That was huge. But I know he came to the school with the idea that he was going to play with Imani Bates as well, too. Imani Bates wound up going to Memphis instead of going to Michigan State, which is in his home state of Michigan. So, they got a good kid, Max Christie. He should be somebody who's going to be on the active roster, but he'll probably be down in South Bay as well, too, playing for the South Bay Lakers. And Sharif O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal's son, was actually signed to a summer league contract. So I'm going to say it again for you guys. Summer league contract. I've seen several people say that he's on the team. He's not on the Lakers. He's on the Lakers summer league team. And I would think that the Lakers did this because they're doing a pageantry for a great contributor to the franchise. But we all know Sharif's medical, and Sharif's medical is not comparable to be an NBA player, dude. It's just you could run out there at any given time and a Hank Gathers situation can happen. It's just not worth it. You're well off as is, you know what I mean? But I think what Shaq said, what he said these kids don't understand that everything belongs to me. And I think that he pretty much got them really trying to make them get their own dollars right now as well, too. So that's why I know he wants to be in the NBA and all that good stuff. But he'll be fine. He has a name that they can use, and he'll be okay. And then you have Scottie Pippen Jr., who actually does have a deal with the Lakers. It's a two-way deal. And I think that the Lakers are just doing this so they can sell some extra seats for Summer League. There is no real, there should be no excitement about this because at the end of the day, the Lakers don't care about having rookies anymore. They don't care about having a youth movement anymore, because if they cared about having a youth movement, they would have told LeBron, hey, we know you like AD and everything like that. Would you want us to trade you to New Orleans instead? Because the Lakers could have took a whole house with them if they just sent LeBron down there. So, at the end of the day, the Lakers are going to do what the Lakers do. And don't get excited about no Summer League championships, none of that stuff. At this point right now, the Lakers' full focus is to mess up the roster more by bringing in more egos. That's all it's about right now. You know what I mean? I heard Bradley Beal. I heard Kyrie Irving. I've heard Zach LaVine. Just bring in more players so then the Lakers can get a big hype show and not perform as usual. Because I don't know why they don't get it, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And just know I'm not a Laker hater. I'm just very disappointed in the team that I love, man. It is what it is. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on. Let's talk about the Dodgers real quick. The Dodgers have themselves a very important series this weekend against the Braves, a team that has given the Dodgers a little bit of fits over the last few years, even though they gave them fits for a whole decade. The Dodgers sit in position right now to where they are still atop the NL West barely, but they were able to get a sweep this week. So that was huge because, they're coming off that losing that series against the Guardians and everything like that, after sweeping the Angels. So when you go into this one right here, you had the idea that you had to sweep the Reds. You couldn't let the Reds off the hook like that. So the Dodgers did their portion with that, and now they're headed to Atlanta today to go ahead and have themselves a pretty good matchup. You got Urias going against Anderson today. Urias did get pretty banged up last time he saw Atlanta in Atlanta, but this is a new day, and Urias actually pitched excellent last time out, and he got some run support last time out as well, too. So if he can get some run support today, he'll be able to go ahead and pitch himself a pretty good game. That's what I've came to realize with the little lefty, is that if the Dodgers score runs, then Julio has no issues when it comes down to pitching. But when he has to really sit up there and be in a pitcher's duel, yeah, that's when things get a little leaky for the Dodgers. So tonight is a very good game, but all in all, this series is a very important series for the Dodgers to keep the momentum going in the West. But at the end of the day, it's not life or death. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people always want to put it in that instance when you're in a close pennant race, but dude, it's June and the season ends in September. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts before we get there. So the Dodgers have Andrew Heaney going Saturday. Andrew Heaney is pitching lights out right now. Has a ERA that's under 1 at 0.59, 23 strikeouts over 4 walks with a win. So he's much improved. Even though he was a decent pitcher with the Angels, he's been pitching some pretty much better with the Dodgers. He'll go against Max Fried, one of the top pitchers for the Braves, tomorrow. And then Sunday's matchup will have Tony Gonsolin going against Spencer Strider. And everybody knows Tony Gonsolin is the hottest pitcher on the Dodgers staff right now, 9-0 on the season. He seems to get a lot of good run support when he's out there as well, too. 1.58 ERA, 64 strikeouts over 21 walks. Now, Spencer Strider is having a pretty good season as well, too. 3-2, 3.40 ERA, 72 strikeouts over 22 walks. So this should be another pretty good pitchers duel come Sunday. So, hey, this is going to be a very telling series for the Dodgers. And, this is a Braves team that started the season slow, but they are red hot at this moment. They did win 15 in a row. So this team at this point right now, they only lost 3 games this month. So they're sitting here 19-3 this month. So they have the Dodgers coming in. They just went ahead and beat the Dodgers rival 3 out of 4 this week as well, too, that after losing a series last weekend against the Cubs. So, this team started off the month very, very hot, won every single day without a day off. And the moment that they got a day off, they lost. So it is what it is. Are they coming into this game on a day off? No, they are not. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Dodgers, Braves, it should be a good game today. And with that, we're going to talk some more baseball, but we'll talk some more baseball when we get back. And we're going to talk about this weekend's series prices as well, too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, and let's go ahead and get into the money, baby. It's Friday, and we always, this isn't First Take, this isn't Undisputed. This is a sports betting show. So let's go ahead and get into the sports betting. And we do have a good series this weekend with the Brewers and the Blue Jays, and the Brewers and Blue Jays coming into this one. Both teams playing pretty good baseball at this moment. I would say this: the Blue Jays are trailing hard because the Yankees are playing their best baseball since they won their last World Series. I'm gonna be honest with you. And then you have a Blue Jays team that's playing pretty good baseball, just like they did last year and the year before. 39-30 on the season. If we started the playoffs today, Toronto would be the number 1 team in the wild card spot. And they would face off against the Yankees if we were able to start the playoffs, but actually they would play a play-in against the Red Sox to be exact. So this team has actually dropped their last 6 out of 10. And then you have a Brewers team that's in a deadlock heat. They've figured out how to kind of keep the Cards at bay. They had themselves a pretty even series this week against the Cardinals as well. They did win last night. They did win yesterday in an early game, matinee game, 4-6. So when you look at them, right now, they 40-32, and they did lose the series this week as well too. Actually, they split. I'm sorry, they went 2-2 in this 4-game series. So now they face off against a American League team. I'm trying to look to see how they've done against the American League this year as well too. So I'm just looking for that number, that stat. and they actually won 2 out of 3 against the Orioles back in April, but they haven't played against a American League team since. So they do have a good winning record against them, and now pretty much today they're looking to go ahead and try to stay ahead of the Cardinals. So when I look at this series over the weekend, I say to myself that tonight's matchup will probably be a big bet for the Blue Jays because they have Manoah on the mound, ERA 2.00, 8-2 on the season, 73 strikeouts, over 15 walks. So this should be something that works out pretty well for the Blue Jays tonight. And I like Adrian, and Adrian Hauser is he's a middling pitcher for this team. But when I look at the rest of the series for this weekend, I think that it favors the Brewers a little bit more, and I think the Brewers should be up to protecting their home turf. So they got Corbin Burns going tomorrow against Kikuchi, and Kikuchi is 61 over 34. It's 61 strikeouts over 34 walks, 2-3 on a year. ERA just up under 5 right now. And then you have Burns, who's 2.31 ERA and a 5.4 win-loss record and has 110 strikeouts on the season. Leads one of the league leaders overall in the MLB in that category. So I think that even though you have a very good Blue Jays lineup hidden-wise, I think that the Brewers will figure out a way to go ahead and get a win tomorrow. And then I think they figure out a way to go ahead and win the series on Sunday. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and take the Blue Jays. Even though we don't have pitchers set for that day yet, I favor the Brewers. I just think that they're going to come through and have a big Sunday. That's all I'm saying. So I'm taking the Brewers with the plus 105 for this 3-game series. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And there it is, Blue Jays at the Brewers. All right, we move on, and we have ourselves the Red Sox and the Guardians. It seems like the Guardians have been on the show all week long. So the Guardians will go against the Red Sox today, another 3-game series. And these two teams are both ascending right now. Red Sox have won their last 8 out of 10. Indians have won their last 8 out of 10. But as I told you guys before, the Indians actually are 21-6 over their 21-5, I think, over their last 26 games because they had a monster month this month. They've only lost 5 games this month. And then you have to remember they finished last month on a pretty nice winning streak as well, too. So they've only lost 6 games in the last 30 days, pretty much. So that's much better for an Indians team. Once again, that started off kind of lousy this year, but they were always in the middling, and then getting these 2 out of 3, then winning the series this week in Minnesota. That's another big confidence boost. You know, they're feeling good about themselves at this moment, man. Like I said before, they've won their last 8 out of 10. They swept Colorado. They beat the Dodgers in LA, then flew to Minnesota and beat the Twins. So the Guardians are sitting in good shape. So it's not hard to take them, even though they're headed back home, and they've lost. 2 of their losses did come at home, but they were going against the A's and Texas as well, too. In that portion, now they got Boston and Minnesota to go. They got Boston, and they got a lot of games going against Minnesota next week. They got a double hitter going against Minnesota next week. They're playing 5 games against Minnesota next week. That's absolutely tremendous right there because they're playing a double hitter on Tuesday. Then they're going to play Wednesday and Thursday. So they're going to be seeing each other for a while this week. So the Indians want to keep that lead, whatever, because it's not a big lead, but they want to keep that lead because right now they are dead even though, the Indians have 3 wins behind the Twins. They're 36 wins to the Twins, 39 wins. But they have 29 losses to the Twins, 32 wins. So that, in a sense, keeps these teams at a deadlock. But the Indians want to stay afloat. So that's why I say I like the Indians going into the series. They're red hot. The Red Sox are hot as well, too. They're playing good baseball, but I just like the Guardians this weekend. This is one of those weekends where they entertain the home crowd, have a good moment, and, everything works out very well, and everybody goes home with a big old smile. So there it is. All right, so let's move forward to our next series, and this one is going to be one that's kind of under the radar. I want to throw one in here that you wouldn't think that I would throw in here, and that's going to be the Tigers and the Diamondbacks. Now, the Diamondbacks are playing up under the radar. They're 32-39 this season. I know that they're way back in the West race, but when it comes to the playoff race, they're not that far out, because actually it seems like every single team in the NL West is in the playoff race. You got the Dodgers, who right now are number 2, and then you do have the Padres, who will be the number 1 team for the wild card spot right now, and then you have Arizona sitting right here at number 7, but they're not that far out though. That's the whole thing. They got 32 wins on the year. They're playing much better than anybody expected them to play this year. And the Tigers, on the other hand, Tigers are one of the worst teams in baseball right now, 26-43 on the year. They're minus 100 when it comes to run differential. So that means this team has been blown away several times this year. So this is kind of like a series that kind of falls into the Diamondbacks' wheelhouse very well, because this team, it seems to be beating up on the bad teams this season, and it's something that they didn't do last year. They couldn't even win on the road, but they aren't having the greatest month this month either, to be exact, because they haven't even won double-digit games this month. They actually, at this point, they got 7 wins. So they haven't won a series all month either, just to give you that number as well too. That's why they run well. Actually, they did beat Minnesota last weekend, so that's why I do favor them in this spot, because they've done well against the American League this year, because they've had a few series with American League teams, and I think that this one will work out because they kind of dominated the Twins last weekend, and the Twins are a top team. So I think that the way the matchup sets up for them this weekend, they should be able to win this series. I'm looking at the pitching matchups now. You got Garcia going against Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly is going to be the pitcher that everybody wants to back tonight in that spot, but don't sleep on Detroit being a live dog either in the spot. Zach Davies takes the mound tomorrow. That should be another good spot for the Tigers. Faedo is 1-4 win-loss this year. Has an ERA just up under 5, and only has 35 strikeouts over 14 walks this year. So I think that Zach Davies, being a wily vet, this is a good spot for him to go ahead and feast on a bad hitting team in Detroit. And then we wrap it up. We got Brisky and Gallen going at it Sunday. This is probably going to be the better pitching matchup, even though Brisky has not gotten run support to go ahead and support his record. He's 1-6 on the season, but I wouldn't blame him for it. When you look at a lot of his games, it seems like they're in the game. He gives up a lot of hits, but he doesn't give up a lot of runs. He gave up 6 runs on the 17th, but other than that, he keeps most of these games I've seen here, his last 10, he hasn't given up more than 4 runs. So he should be much better on Sunday. And Gallen is one of their top prospects, top future guys. So this could be a sweep for Arizona this weekend, but I think they get 2 out of 3 though. I think that they're going to drop 1, but they definitely win the series this weekend. So I'm going to spend a little extra on this, and I'm going to take minus 170. I never want to invest in a team with a losing record on a series price like this, but the way the game is setting up, they're going to Arizona. Arizona is brutally hot right now. And if I'm the Tigers, I'm just trying to get in and get out and get back, get on to the next series. And the next series is going to be in, of all places, for them, from what I see here, for the Tigers, their next series will be in San Francisco. So that should be good for them. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes in San Francisco for the Tigers. All right, so with that, that's what we do. All right, so we move on, and this is an oldie but goodie. This is a rivalry that has spanned a century or so, and that's going to be the old battle of the border. You got East St. Louis. St. Louis and Chicago are very, very close to each other, and pretty much this is one of the bigger rivalries in baseball. You got Yankees, Red Sox, you got Dodgers, Giants, and you got Cubs, Cardinals. Then everybody else kind of falls in line. I always used to be like, oh, well, yeah, the White Sox and the Guardians, but, well, when they were the Indians, that's not really a rivalry in a sense, but it is. And, but just let's keep it real. Those are the 3 that we all can just, gravitate to. So when I look at this matchup, I see 2 rivals, and I see something I'm gonna shake it up a little bit this weekend. This is gonna be my upset series for the weekend. I know the Cubs are struggling. I know because the Cubs messed us up yesterday. We had a dog day pick 4. We had everybody line up and win, and guess who loses? The Cubs. So the Cubs owe me this weekend. I didn't want to go against them because just looked at the number and I said this is going to be a drastic overbet. Now, when it comes down to this week, they have lost 3 out of 4. Let's keep it real. They haven't done that well this week, and they've actually have not done well here in the last month or so. They've actually have dropped their last 7 out of 10 games. But I think this will be something that they truly do need. They played 5 games this month against St. Louis already. They went 2 out of 3. So they lost that 3-2. So pretty much they had a doubleheader, and then they also had a few games before, but they played a whole week. Literally, they played a whole weekend, 4 days. So, I like the way the Cubs come back into this matchup this weekend. They're on the road. I think what happens here is, since they're rivals, the Cubs figure out a way to win 2 of these games. I like Kyle Hendricks in this pitching matchup tonight, even though Palante is pitching very well, but he walks a lot. He walks just as many as he strikes out. Now, Kyle Hendricks, on the other hand, he's not having a great season win-loss, but he always does pitch the Cardinals well. Then we have the second game of the weekend, and they haven't decided on who the starters are going to be for that, but that's where I really favor Chicago at, when we don't know who the starters are going to be. And who's slated for Sunday? We got Matt Swarmer slated for Sunday to go against Jack Flaherty. This is definitely an over game. Both these guys have high ERAs, and Jack Flaherty's not striking out people this year. He's just really playing contact baseball this season. And Matt Swarmer is still getting used to being at the big league level at this point. He kind of ran into Achilles' row, Milwaukee, St. Louis, the Yankees, the Padres, and then the Pirates this week. But he kind of improved against the Pirates this week, 5 strikeouts, but he gave 4 earned runs, but 5 overall as well too. So, this might be the game where I say to myself, I want the Cubs. I want to say this: the Cubs win the first 2 games, and then they drop Sunday's game. How about that? Let's go ahead and rock with that. So I'm going to take the Cubs with the plus 220, and that is some nice value right there. So it is what it is, and it's going to be the Cubs plus 220 with that weekend series. Now let's go ahead and get to talking some tickets. And talking tickets today is this. It's going to look a little like this, guys. I'm going to go ahead. First, we're going to go ahead and talk about the PrimeTime PK6. The PrimeTime PK6 today is 65-1. We have the under 7.5 with the Astros and the Yankees. You got Verlander going against going against Severino today. That's a very good pitching matchup. That's a pitching matchup that we may see in the playoffs this year. Then you have the over 9 with the Red Sox and the Guardians today. I feel like both pitchers are going to be giving up some runs today. It's going to be a firefight over at the old Progressive, a.k.a. the Jake. And then we have the Pirates money line tonight as my dog of the day. Pirates are in a tough spot, but they are in an interleague series this weekend against the Rays. So anything goes in those series. That's why I'm taking the Pirates. And usually when they're so heavy on a team in an interleague matchup, usually the team that's the high dog usually wins. I didn't put the Pirates here, but you can add the Pirates to your series prices this weekend, or you can just go ahead and try to win with them tonight. Plus 180 on the Pirates. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And then we got the Nats tonight. The Nats are in a pretty fun spot as well too. You would think that the Nats, they're not having the greatest season, but they're a type of team that will figure it out, step it up when they need to. And tonight they go against Texas, and I just don't trust the Rangers as a big dog. That's the whole thing. But I think they keep the game close tonight. Rangers played a midday game yesterday, so they're a little rested. You have the Nats flying in from the Beltway series that they just had with Baltimore, where they split those games as well too. So they have a day off. They had a day off yesterday. So I like this team fresh because they won back-to-backs, right? But they played Sunday, had a day off, came back Tuesday and won. Then they lost on the back-to-back. I think if with this week, day off, they get a win. So let's see if they can get a day off, get a win. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We're taking the Royals with the +1.5. And then we have ourselves the Royals tonight going against the lowly A's, the worst team in baseball right now as we speak. They only have people showing up to the game anymore. And it's funny to me that they brag so hard about the Raiders leaving, like, oh, now we can have the stadium all to ourselves and blah, 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 blah. And we're the real Oakland team and blah, 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 blah. We get to the first month of the season. I think one of the games they had about 1,500 people there. This is Major League Baseball, y'all. And you have to understand that stadium seats 80,000 people. So when you have 1,500 people show up to a 80,000 seat stadium, yeah, that looks a lot like a high school baseball championship game than it does a professional MLB game. So I would say this. I would think that their days are pretty marked in Oakland right now, but this team has been trying to leave Oakland for 20 years now. So it is what it is at the end of the day, but they chasing the Raiders to Vegas though. That's all I can say. They trying to get to Vegas too. All right. So you got the Royals tonight. I like Zach Greinke to go ahead and just manhandle this team. They're not much better than the A's. They really aren't. They're a last place team as well too. But I trust Zach Greinke to go up there, have himself a great game, and get his team a good week, good win, and send the fans home happy with a nice Friday night win, and everybody goes and hangs out at the local the local watering hole, and like they do in Kansas City on Friday nights after a game, right? All right. So we got the Angels at the Big A tonight, going against the Angels are going against the Mariners. This is going to be a rivalry game, and you know what? This year, the Angels have the Mariners number. The Angels trying to get it back together though. Right now, the Angels 34-38. They're playing much better baseball after losing 12 in a row. So, they're pretty much right now, they're even over their last 10. So tonight, I think that they should be good money here against the Mariners. Mariners coming into this game, same deal, split 5-5 in their last 10 as well, too. They're very disappointing to me this season as well. They're 32-39. I think they should be much better than this. I actually had them stealing the West this year as well, too, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I like the Angels tonight with the money line. I like them as straight up winners tonight with the -155. With this, we're going to go ahead and take the 65-1 on the parlay. Single what you like. But as I always say, small risk, big reward. Here you go. You put up 25, you put up 20, you get back 1,300 if this bad boy hits. I only give you value. So there it is. A lotto ticket to start off your Friday. All right, and here goes something even more fun. The Dog Day PK4. I got this bad boy at 35-1 today. So what we're doing here is I'm going to go ahead and take the Orioles with the +140, and then I'm taking the Cubs today with the +135. You know that I got the Cubs winning the series this weekend. And today, just today, I'm going to take the Tigers with the +140 to go ahead and get the upset against the Diamondbacks. Now, I got the Diamondbacks winning the series, but I think the Tigers win the game today. So I'm taking them with the +140. And then I end this with a big long shot, in my opinion, a team that just got absolutely flambasted by the Dodgers, and that's the Reds. The Reds pitching is awful right now. Their hitting is fine, but the pitching is awful at this point. And Hunter Green, the big prospect, he got a dose of reality yesterday about how it looks against big-time hitting when he played against the Dodgers. But I think with a better pitching coach, he'll be a better pitcher. The kid got the tools to be really good in this league, but he's just the unfortunate situation of having to play for the Reds at this moment. The Reds are just bad on bad right now. So there goes. That's a 35-1 ticket right there. So pretty much that's where we're at right now. And man, another good week of sports, and pretty much we'll be back tomorrow on Instagram, or I'll just be posting out, the tomorrow's pick 6 and Dog Day PK4s and all that good stuff, because we got ourselves a heavy weekend. You got a lot of weekend in baseball. You don't have any teams taking no time off unless it's a weather delay. So it is what it is. And pretty much, man, as usual, you guys are the best. There is no me without you. And man, make it be a big weekend. We don't have a big boxing matches this weekend, but we got some big baseball going on this weekend. We got WNBA going on as well too. So there's something for you to watch. Other than that, maybe y'all just go hang out at the beach a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're out here where I'm at, or if you somewhere where a beach is at. So there it is. There it is. So once again, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. As once again, I want to wish everybody a happy Friday. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production,